I'm Amanda Walljasper Tate, and I am so excited to be starting this YouTube channel. And my deep desire to start this channel comes from wanting more people to know about natural health options. And I just get to talk to people and help people on a daily basis with their health naturally. And I feel like this is going to be a really great way for me to help others learn and get some of the to learn and get some of the most basic questions answered when it comes to natural health. And I want to use this platform to create education, awareness, recipes, tips. I realized recently when I was thinking about this that there are so many little habits that I do on a daily basis. And I don't stop and think twice about them. It's just stuff I've done for years. Like I've used natural deodorant for years, and got rid of all my toxic cleaning products, and the roller that I roll on every day. There's so many things that I do on a regular basis that most people do not know about. And so it is truly my goal to show up here to serve and empower you to live healthier naturally. And I'm going to take you back just a little bit and share my own personal story with you. It was actually 20 years ago, and I used to take a handful of prescription medications. And quite honestly, I was 30 years old and I never felt good. I was tired, fell asleep at the drop of a hat, just never had energy. And it seemed like I'd get a medicine for this, and then I had another side effect from that and needed something else. And I struggled with things like anxiety and depression, chronic back pain, really bad allergies, and hormonal imbalances. And kind of the final straw was I actually had a surgery for endometriosis, and the symptoms were back the very next month. And I was like, this is crazy. I've got to find a better way. And something just stirred up inside of me, and I started doing my own research. Like, there has to be a way to feel better. And so I dived in and started researching and reading. I'm a researcher by nature. That's just like a thing that I do, right? And as skeptical as I was, I just had that little bit of hope that something would help and something would work. And there was a better way for me to operate, for my body to feel better. And so I went into the locally owned health food store. There was a couple that owned it, an older couple. I had my list of what I wanted to buy, told them what I was trying to do, and they were so helpful and knowledgeable. I just was blown away that these 80-year-old people had all this knowledge that I had no idea existed. And so anyway, they helped me. They added a couple more stuff, like you should try this and this. And I left with my supplements. I started taking them. Really important, if we're going to take supplements, we want to get the high quality that truly, truly matters. And I did know that going into walking into that store. So I left with my bundle, started taking my supplements. I knew I needed to work on liver detoxification and just supporting my body with lots of nutrition and supplements to support the missing pieces, to make me feel better. And within 6 months of starting those natural supplements that I picked up on that day 20 years ago, I was off all of my prescription medicines. And I have been prescription medication free now for 20 years. And so I tell you that because it doesn't matter where you are in the journey. Maybe you're not taking any medications, and maybe you are taking medications that you absolutely need, and that's awesome. But if you are living in a daily basis, medications or no medications, right? And just not feeling the best that you feel that you could, there are ways to help your body, and you can do these things naturally without causing side effects, right? And so that stirred up something up inside of me at the time that I started on this natural journey. I was a teacher, had a full-time teaching job. My master's degree is actually in education. So just, I know I didn't waste any of my degrees, right? One thing led to another, but I like to say now I get to teach people about natural health on a daily basis. And so that's why we're showing up here to share with all of you. And it's why we do what we do on a daily basis. And so fast forward just a couple of years, and I was having great results using natural products, feeling better than I had felt in many years. I look back and a lot of my issues and the bloating and the tiredness and a lot of that stuff probably started way back in high school, actually. So you just know, you don't know until you know. That's what I always say on this natural journey. And fast forward a couple of years, I had this strong desire inside of me. I was driving down the main street of Worthington one day, And I thought, I wonder what is going to happen to this health food store. I knew that one of the owners had passed away. The woman was getting older. And so I made the connection, started visiting with them. And lo and behold, I took a huge leap of faith, left my teaching job. It was my best paying job to that point, and bought the brick and mortar health food store from a 93-year-old woman. And she was still her only employee. And so I picked up as much knowledge as I could. She was so willing to try to teach me all that she knows, or knew at that time, and bought the health food store. It was outdated. It was a huge risk. Everyone thought I was crazy for doing it. But here we are 18 years later, still with the same mission to help people get healthier naturally. So that's how I ended up owning a brick and mortar health food store. And I love to share the story, because it's all about learning in life, right? And we want to help others learn and do the same. And about 9 years ago, a friend invited me to a doTERRA essential oils class. And I have to tell you, I was a huge skeptic. I was like, oh, they're just expensive oils. They can't be that great. But I went to the class, smelled a couple of the oils, and I smelled doTERRA's peppermint oil. And I was like, wow, what is this? It's different than any other of the cheap oils that we used to sell in the store. I had never smelled one that was so pure smelling and so just full of, you could feel it right away when you smelled it out of the bottle. And I knew that these oils were different than others that I had used and smelled beforehand. And so that class, I listened, I learned, and my brain was kind of turning with lots of questions. But I was like, wow, I should try these. I should try these oils. Let's learn about essential oils. And so I grabbed a couple of rollers and from that class, and I thought, I'm just going to use them. I'm not going to tell anyone I'm using them. I'm just going to use them. How many of you have done this before, right? Like we all do this when we start something new. And I decided to use them. And I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing, but I'm like, okay, roll it on your heart. They told me roll it on the back of your neck. I put some on my wrists. I would do that probably 6 to 8 times a day, actually. Anytime I was feeling stressed and anxious and just needing to feel more calm. When you're a business owner, I feel like there's always some stress. And by that time in my life, thank goodness, I'd had a lot of my physical health conditions taken care of and worked out, but I still had a lot of just stress, right? And just like the crazy. And so started using the oils for a week. And I started to notice that I was feeling better. I noticed my focus was much better. Just more calm, not feeling so, anxious all of the time. And then my husband says to me, I don't know what you've been doing, but keep doing it. You're much happier and much more calm, and it's great. And when he said that, I knew that these oils were powerful. And I knew that I wanted to get more of them in my possession to share with more people. And so about 9 years ago now, we brought the doTERRA products into the health food store. I started teaching classes. I traveled to teach classes. It's still to this day one of my favorite things is to teach essential oil classes because they truly can, small little drops of oil can truly shift our health and make such a difference. And when we brought the doTERRA into the health food store, the first 6 months that we had the doTERRA essential oils, I heard more amazing, life-changing stories than I had heard my first 9 years in business. And so it just gets me so excited that how one little tiny drop, on a baby all the way up to 80-year-olds can have success and have success fairly quickly in a lot of situations. And what I love about the essential oils is we can have them in our homes. We can keep our natural first aid kit handy, and they can be the first line of defense that we go to feel better. And there's so many things that you can do. I mean, I have a lot of my customers, they start essential oils because they want stuff to clean naturally with. They want to make their own cleaning products. So yes, you can do that with pure essential oils. Other people start because they need support with digestive issues or better sleep. People want their houses to smell good. We're finally getting to a point that people were learning that toxic air fresheners, our laundry soaps, all of those things are so toxic if we're just buying over the counter. And so if we can make our own or switch out and use pure essential oils and have our home smelling good, but we're also getting the purifying benefits, and it's much healthier for everyone in our house. It's healthier for pets. It's healthier for children. It's a whole world that we can open up to into the natural. And so it has just been a blessing to pair up the doTERRA wellness products in the health food store with the full array of products that we have. And with having a place that I get to go to most days, you find me there. But we get to ask questions and we get to talk to people and we get to help people and answer their questions. And what's really awesome and what I'm hoping to bring to all of you through this is what are the most popular questions? What do you want to hear more about? What do you want to learn about? And that's what we're going to address, because when I get to work with people on a regular daily basis, it's we know what typically will work, right? We know what powerful this supplement, vitamin D3, right? Number one seller in the health food store. Pretty much all of us in Minnesota and all over. When you don't get enough sunlight, we need that vitamin D3. But that's just one example. But many, um, you know, companies and vitamins are out there. Places make a lot of claims. One of the biggest things that I've had to deal with more recently, it seems like, is so many people are coming in because they saw an ad on TV or something on social media, and they're just 100% sure that it's this amazing product and it's going to do all this great stuff for them, and it's probably not. They're not well marketed. They're internet companies. A lot of them are scam companies. And the thing about vitamins and supplements that I want to make sure you all understand is they are not regulated. So we really have to do the research and trust the companies that we sell and that we put into our own bodies, because we want to make sure they're real. We want to make sure that what it says on the bottle is really in the bottle. And there is so much adulteration out there. Like, you've got to be so careful. You can't just go grab your vitamins over the counter or online big box type stores, because you don't know what you're going to get. And we've even had vitamin companies over the last number of years that they order what looks to be their identical vitamin bottle online. They test it. It does not even have what it's supposed to have in the bottle. And so there is so much mislabeling. The same thing happens with the doTERRA essential oil bottles. They get people replicate them. Isn't that crazy? Like, it just blows my mind how much like fraud and misinformation is out there. But it'll look exactly the same as a doTERRA bottle. I've had people bring them in. Amanda, this doesn't smell like my lemon oil that I got from you. And we'll smell it. It's like, whoa. And it's the same identical doTERRA bottle, and it is not doTERRA lemon inside the bottle. So please, you're going to dive into the natural world. You're already using natural. Check your labels, check your brands, reach out anytime, because you really do want to make sure you're taking quality. If you're going to spend the money and you're going to make this a habit and really try to up level your health, we've got to make sure you're taking quality. We can't take the crappy stuff, can't take the cheap stuff that's going to do more harm than good, right? We want to put good stuff into our body. And that's what we're going to be here to help you decipher. So be aware, there's a lot of advertisements. And if you see anything that looks too good to be true, and this is true whether it's a natural, a medication, whatever, if it seems like a magic fix for almost everything, it's probably not going to do what it says it does. If there was something magic like that out there, everyone would be running around super healthy and happy. And that is just simply not the case in today's world. We are sicker than we have ever been. In the United States, we spend more money on medical and healthcare than any other nation, and we are one of the most unhealthy nations. So this is important. This is why we're here. And I am just so thankful that you are joining me on this journey. I can't wait to hear from you, hear your questions. What do you want me to talk about next? And I would love for you, if you enjoyed this conversation and hearing a little bit of my story and my reason for starting this, I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel and share it with your friends.